addicted to food. You could be addicted to a feeling. Like, you know, addiction, like, it spans across so many arrows and things, and it's crazy to me because we it doesn't get talked about enough. Because sometimes people think addictions are cool. Like, they think a certain types of addictions are cool, and I just think that that's bad. And like I said, um, we're gonna get back to the central point of this video, but like I said, addictions, they all stem from self-love. When you get addicted to something, it means you don't have enough self-worth or self-love. And that's the problem in our society. Is people got to start developing that love for themselves because, you know, it's just it doesn't fit. But you know, the original question was, how can we love ourselves without worshiping ourselves? So I'm gonna let Brother Emmanuel take this because I know he got the knowledge on this.
Yep. But before, could you repeat that last part? Because I really want to attack that question. You said, how could we, because you asked a question before.
How can we love ourselves without worshiping ourselves?
That's a great point. Because, hmm, okay. It depends on your worldview. I'm going to be honest. But at times, there's times where you have to not worship yourself, but realize your abilities, talents, and skill sets. Sometimes you have to say you're better than that person, not like in an egotistical way, but in just like an acknowledgement fact. But there are times where that could get to your head and you could end up, becoming a prideful person. So how do you self-love without self-worshiping? Hmm. That's a great question. Shoot, this actually got me a little stumped. But I think first you have to be humble. And when I say be humble, you need to you need to do- you need to realize that at the end of the day, we're all just people. Of course, we all have different skill sets, different attributes, different, just different everything. But at the end of the day, we all are just human beings. Of course, you might be better than me at something. I might be better than you at something. But at the end of the day, that shouldn't, that like determine our self worth. Because just like with how me and Zach were talking about the addictions, this could be a whole nother thing where you view yourself better based on certain factors than someone else, and it just ends up, creating this prideful, egotistical mentality. But honestly, I'm gonna be real, Zach. I have to really think on that question. That was actually a great question. I don't even feel like I really gave you a good answer. Um, I think the biggest way I could say this is know that life is bigger than you. Of course, you have different beliefs, and depending on that, you could really go into it. But life is bigger than you. This whole world is bigger than you. There's 8 billion people on here allegedly. We haven't even figured out the whole ocean. We have outer space. At the end of the day, we're just one human being, and that doesn't mean we're just not valuable. Of course, we all have a role to play, but like we don't know anything. We don't know everything. Like I said, we're all just human beings, and at the end of the day, like you're just a guy. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. You still have something to contribute, but at the end of the day, you're still flesh and blood. You're still just a man. You can only do so much. You can only know so much. You can only achieve so much. You can only be so great. Um, and I'm gonna leave it at that because, of course, you could this conversation could flow over to different topics depending on your beliefs, and it's honestly kind of a little difficult for me to answer fully. I'm curious on what you have to say about it because honestly, that really stumped me. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely, I probably have to edit some parts out because I don't know. I was shoot that still got me thinking right now. Passing on to you.
No, Brother Emil, I think you answered that question very well, man. I think, it's a tough question. And, like I said, it was one of the topics for this video because, you know, I think it's tough because, like I said, We talk a lot about self love, but one thing about it is I don't want my audience taken away from this that, hey, well, myself, I got my, the only thing I got love in life is myself. Like, and I think that's the thing is like, no, like, because some people, they love themselves, but then they take it to a whole new level that we don't need to be. Like, my perspective is listen, like you said, you have to be humble. You can't love yourself more than anything else. Listen, there's a fine line between idolizing yourself and growing. You have to understand at the end of the day, you're not a perfect person. You're going to make mistakes. But you just have to turn your mistakes into the lessons. Like, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I've turned every one into a lesson. And, I think one of the things is like, look, I know I'm not perfect, but I know that at the end of the day, that I'm gonna be able to, you know, continue to grow, continue to develop because, I may not be the most perfect guy in the world, but I'm gonna work like heck every single day to try my best to be the best version of myself. Because I know that there's people counting on me. I mean, I gotta be, you know, I gotta try my best to be the number one Zachary Long I can be. Like, you know, people say, they love the smile, they love this, and or even if it's a 5 second interaction, if I can just change someone's day from a 5 second interaction, bro, it's what I got to do. And like, I think that's the thing is like, you know, obviously, like I said, I'm not a perfect person, but you got to try your best, bro. And some people, man, they just worship themselves like I'm the greatest person in the world. And when you think like that, you're never like we talked a lot about romantic relationships in this, but even in friendships, like you're never going to have value worthy friendships or value worthy romantic relationships if you think like that. And you know, obviously, I'm blessed beyond measure to have such a friendships that I've made here at Salisbury. Obviously, we have the crew uh that we have, and it's a beautiful brotherhood that we have. But if I was full of myself, bro, I don't think I would be able to make all the friendships that I've made just because like, bro, you think about certain things and you're like, man, like, no, like, like if I was, egotistical, if I was like that, like the crew wouldn't have been made. And obviously we can't say the other name of the GC because we don't want to get copyrighted, but you know, like like if we all think about it, like if we all were selfish men, like and we cared about was ourselves, we wouldn't have the group chat because
Nope.
I obviously, you know, the whole compass of our group chat has changed because it's all about us motivating each other to be better. Oh, okay,
Yep.
you know, you're doing well in this, but bro, boom, 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 let's get better in here. Let's get better here. All right, let's do this. Let's do that. Right. And that's because all of us have put ourselves aside because we want to see our brothers succeed. And, some of us, uh, have, have benefited more than others with some of us putting ourselves aside for a brother. And that's only because we don't worship ourselves in that. Like we don't worship ourselves. Like if we all worshiped ourselves, our GC wouldn't be able to last. We'd be one of those group chats that falls apart because we'd be fighting over this, we'd be fighting over that, or if one of us really liked, say one of us really liked a girl, like one of us could just go and follow that girl on Instagram, DM her, just to show that he's better than the man next to him. But the thing about our GC is we want to just uplift each other. We want to just all right, boom. Hey, listen, like you know, like our brother Ang, instead of instead of us putting him down or saying, "Hey, bro, like you can't do this," like brother Ang, we choose to uplift him, We choose to be like, hey man, this is what you should say. This is what you should do. You know, this is how we see things. And he doesn't always have to listen to us, nor does he always listen to us. And that's fine. He's not required to always listen to us. You know, in some cases, do we think he should have? Of course. But Aim's gonna do what he does. I'm not gonna lie. Same thing
100%.
with our other guy, the quote unquote mystery man. You know, he's gonna do what he does. But like we all still listen, it's the fact we all still listen to each other's advice, and we don't come from a place of pride. Like when you texted GC or when I texted GC or when Ang texted GC or when the mystery man texted GC, like we all, it's not out of pride, but it's out of like love, like, oh, I want to share my experiences. Cause see, if we have pride, bro, we'd be like, man, we grown men sending each other text messages, messages, like we grown men doing this, like, and so we'd come from a place of pride, like, dang, like, even this right now, this beautiful conversation we're having, like, someone could look at this and be like, man, two grown men without Valentine's just having a conversation on Valentine's Day, which is completely invalidating the core message of our conversation. It's just completely invalidating the great conversation we had and or we're having. And I think that's the problem these days is you see a lot of these people, you see a lot of these group chats, they fall because they worship themselves. And it happens in a lot of these relationships too. You mentioned sacrifice earlier. You know, it's not just sacrifice in romantic relationships. It's with your family, it's with your friends. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize, like, in every relationship that there's love in, you have to sacrifice. And
Yep.
I like, obviously we all know the story of Jesus and how he sacrificed for us, but hey, if you're not even religious, still, like, I'm sorry, but every single relationship you have that has love in it is going to take sacrifice. You know, everybody in the four, it's not like we're throwing our bodies on the line for each other every day, but we're sacrificing our time to talk to each other. You're sacrificing your time right now to talk to me, to be on this episode, to be in this conversation. That shows selfishness or selflessness. Sorry, Dave. Selflessness right there. Like, you know, like it's stuff like that. Like this is like that's true brotherhood. You know, most people aren't doing this. Like we both could be doing different things right now. We both could be, sitting there thinking like, dang, we don't got Valentine's, we don't got this. You know,
Yep.
we could be hitting up Ang talking about some, hey Ang, how's it going? But instead, like we doing this to uplift people. Like when this gets released to YouTube, I know there's a couple of you guys that are really waiting on this video. So shout out to you guys. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's gonna take some editing. We're gonna have to cut some stuff, but I can't wait. But man, like it's hard to not worship yourself in this world because if you don't worship yourself, you see the people who have the most quote unquote confidence, they worship themselves. And so you're like, man, I want to be confident like that. But there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. You know what I'm saying? You can believe that you can do certain things. But if you think you're the best at said things, then it's like, well, that's a stretch. Like, personally, I know that like I'm good at singing, but I'm no way and no how worthy of being a Grammy Award winning artist or the next mega singing star. But I know I'm good at it, but it doesn't mean that, I'm the next this or that and the third, or just like you're great at playing the piano, but you're not good, like the greatest piano player of all time. Yeah.
Unfortunately not. Nope.
you know? So it's like, it's just one of those things. Like, we know, like, we can't worship ourselves. We have to keep ourselves balanced at the end of the day. Like, you can't tell yourself you're the worst person in the world or this or that, because then you're just demeaning yourself. But you have to, while you uplift yourself, you also have to be honest with yourself. Like, you know, and there's a line between that. I had to learn the line between that because I used to lie to myself and be like, I got all this aura. When in all reality, I mean, I got aura, but it's I don't have the type of motion that I thought I had back in the day. Back in high school, I thought I had more motion than I did. And so I took certain things for granted because I was like, oh, I'm more popular. So I don't have to talk to this person. I'm more popular. Which is pretty stupid, by the way. You know. And that was I mean, that was like ninth or like that was like ninth and tenth grade, really. But, I grew out of that, but it's still a prevalent example. Like, you know, we do certain things in life when we're full of ourselves that we wouldn't do if we're honest with ourselves. Like, what I've been trying to just like say in my head is like, I'm no different than the next man. If I see somebody and they're talking to me, yeah, we may have different experiences. They may have certain things that I can't relate to, but inherently we're the same. You know, like that's where I try to think about it. Like if there's somebody that's like, you know, like looked at as a social outcast, I guess, or something like that. Like I look at them like inherently we're not that different. Yeah, I appreciate all the love that I receive and I get, and I appreciate the support. But I mean, I can't idolize that support. Like that could be gone like the next day. Now I hope it doesn't. 'Cause I appreciate it, and you know, I appreciate what I have in the group chat, or I appreciate what I have in my other friends, or I appreciate my supporters who are also my friends who are watching this video. I appreciate you guys. But I'm no different than the next man, you know? So it's just you can't idolize yourself. And that was a very long and extensive answer. But it's true, like, your psyche, you have to work it in to where it's like, oh, like I may not be the greatest of all time, but I'm a solid enough guy. I'm a work in progress. And a lot of people they get fooled themselves because they think they're not a work in progress anymore. Like once you get to a certain point in life, you're good. But in all reality, you're growing till you die. Like the day you stop growing is the day you die. And like I don't know about you, but I don't want to stop growing anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's more to accomplish on this earth. There's more time. There's more trips that we gotta take. Japan 2027. Uh, you know, there's more things that we have to do. Uh, you know, guys, we were just joking about Japan 2027. It might happen, but like, we'll see. But
Time will tell.
it will. Hey, if we spread, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Like, y'all could really fund this Japan 2027 trip. Look,
Honestly,
you
Cash
know,
App will be in the link below.
exactly. The GoFundMe will be in the link of this video. So if y'all want to, pass some money over, get us over there. I'll happily do some great content vlogs from over in Japan. Just let me know. But anyway, all jokes aside, like, you know, it's beautiful and it's great, but you gotta you gotta be, you can't just love yourself more than anything else, but you still have to love yourself. And that is what me and brother Manuel have been talking about. It's like some people they love themselves, but they love themselves more than anything else. And some people love others so much that they idolize them. And so they love them and idolize them more than they love themselves. And it's bad. And you know, it's honestly it's an imbalance in our culture because we have so many people this way or that way that it's like when you see someone in the middle, they get clowned for it. When you see somebody that's like, well, I'm not the greatest of all time, but I know I'm good at this. It's like, so you're not gonna say you're the greatest of all time at this? No, I'm not. I just let my actions do the talking. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, and that's why we just have to be even keeled and balanced. And you know obviously, brother Emmanuel is a great representation of balance. He be balancing a lot of stuff. I won't say too much about his personal life, but the dude has a lot of things that he does behind the scenes, a lot of work that he has behind the scenes that he deals with, and he goes to college. So I will say he definitely deals with a lot behind the scenes. And I got stuff going on behind the scenes that he knows about that I won't say on here. But like we're like we're both very very busy men. Like for us to get this interview, to get this schedule, like obviously we wanted to do it specifically on this day, but we had to get a time. And for us to just get this time together, like that's the whole compass. And like I said, like our group chat in general is super busy. Like we're all so busy that like this is why me and the Manuel are here, and it's a great conversation. But there's two of us missing, and they're both missing for selective reasons. Like I was telling Emmanuel off camera, I want to get an episode of all four of us before the end of February, but we'll get that working. And me and Emmanuel will definitely hit up the GC after this to get with them and get their schedules down. But and you guys are really gonna love that episode. It's gonna be a little harder because they're much different than me and Emmanuel, where
100%.
some of us, one of them is very high energy, and he's the youngest of us, so that's why he's high energy. Like we're gonna have to tell him also to keep it very PG because you know, I mean, like I said earlier, my little sister watches this, my little brother watches this, my family watches this. I don't need them to hear certain things that he has to say. So
Ha!
we're gonna have to PR train him a little bit before this. He can be himself. Because, like I said, we talked about it. We want everyone to be themselves, but we will, and certain stuff will cut out. But you know, yeah, definitely, you guys can expect a collab of all four of us coming soon. We're gonna get it done before the end of February, but yeah, man. We're definitely gonna wrap up soon, and me and Manuel will get to talk off camera for the next stuff. But you know, Emmanuel, any final words?
First, I want to thank Zach for bringing me on here. I really appreciate it. This is the first, but definitely not the last time you'll see me. We kind of went a little all over the place, but that's fine. But um, yeah, main topic, self-love, love, but also past that, just critical thinking, understanding yourself, and just living your life for you. Now, I said this the other day, but from the way I look at life, I think everyone should live their life on their own terms, come to their own perspectives on themselves. But your actions and your beliefs do have consequences. Keep that in mind. But at the end of the day, still take the liberty to live your own life, make your own decisions. Um, but past that, hey, I'm looking forward to the channel with Zach that he got going on. This first video is going off great. Thankful he brought me on here. I know he'll have more guests on here, and then when we do have, the rest of the group that Zach was referring to, it'll be an interesting video for sure. I know this one was long. I don't know how long the other one's gonna be, especially with all those different personalities. It could get interesting, but nah, I appreciate the invite. Yeah, remember the key topic: self love. I already drilled it in enough. I'm not gonna give y'all another lecture again. Um, love. Remember, it's more than just that feeling. But in general, shoot, it's Valentine's Day. It's 11:20. What's done is done. But honestly, if you had a Valentine, that's great. Hopefully, that person you make it work. If not, there's always more people out there. If you didn't have a Valentine, there's always gonna be more Valentine's Day to come. Don't let this day define you, regardless of who you are. And with that, I'm gonna pass it back to Zach. But yeah, appreciate y'all.
Thank you again, brother Emmanuel. And what a lot of people don't know is that brother Emmanuel was actually the one who suggested me start this. So it's only fitting that he was the first guest. And
Oh wow,
I
did not know that.
remember, bro, you said it like when we was on
Yeah, yeah,
call.
yeah, I said it, but I didn't know that was the reason. I was like, yeah, if you ever want to document on YouTube, it was a half joke. You know when you say stuff and like you're not joking, but you're not really too serious on it
Yeah.
either. But hey, nah, I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't
Hey,
even not even know that, so that was a surprise to me.
bro, of course, bro. Like, you gotta show support to the ones that get this started. So I said, I appreciate everybody subscribing to me and wanting to hear what I have to say, but man, I really wanted to get Brother Emmanuel on because I can give y'all knowledge, but it's so great, and that's why I want to do collabs. And yeah, I'm gonna do some solo videos. There's a couple of solo videos I can't wait to record for you guys. But man, brother Emmanuel, he's such a deep young man, and he's got a lot of knowledge. So you know, like we were so excited to film this for you guys, and I know this is gonna be a long video, but we're we really hope that you watch this. Like, find some time to sit with yourself and watch this because I'm telling you, like, this is a great video. I've learned so much from just even listening, and so I'm very grateful that we were able to do this. Like I said, a consistent crew collab is on the way. Um,
Yep.
I said me and Emmanuel and the other two we'll all talk off camera, and we'll set some ground rules. And I'm sorry that this was a little all over the place, but it actually fit because there's two of us. But adding two more, we're gonna have to be more on topic because some of us, I won't say any names in the group chat, tend to go off on certain long tangents and all that. And if you looked at the group chat, you would see who I'm talking about. I know that he's gonna watch this part, and he's gonna say that it's not him. But if he would like to contest, he knows where to look. So but yes, I'm very grateful to have Emmanuel on. Uh, I'm very grateful for you guys who watched this video and really like digest this. Like, this is one of those things. If you have to break it up in a couple of days, do that. But I really, really like, not even just because this is my channel, but I really, really think you guys should watch this full thing because it's a great example of just two young men just flowing ideas off of each other and growing. And like I said, we're both growing. So when we film, when we have another, like next year, next Valentine's Day, I'm not gonna lie, we both are gonna be busy that day. And I'll be watching the Super Bowl. Let's go Commanders. Come on now.
Yep. No doubt about it.
But if we decide to film a 1 year anniversary episode of this, we probably will. But and you'll see how next year, how our perspective, another year of life has changed us both. And so that's what I'm saying. That's why I really love this channel, and shout out to him for inspiring it because I've been on a journey like this for a while, and you know having this channel to document it, and it's a beautiful thing. So you know I'm really grateful to have him on. But that being said, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go plan the next video. We're gonna go plan some details that we can't share with you guys. Uh, but we'll see you in the next one. I love you guys to death, and it's been a good word. Peace out.
Yep.